and welcome. Today it is Friday, April 22nd, and it is episode 46. I am sorry that I did not podcast last Friday, but we were in Paris, and so it was just not possible for me to do a regular podcast from vacation, but I did do a vlog when we were in Paris. So if you are curious to see what we did, where we lived, and just to see or re-experience some of the most touristy places of Paris, and also just some really nice relaxed moments in Paris, go check out my vlog. I'll put a little link for it up here. We had 4 amazing days in Paris. The weather was perfect, the atmosphere was perfect, everyone was happy, the girls were happy, the apartment was great, the trip down there was perfect, everything was just, sometimes everything just falls into place when you travel. Like, the plane is not late, the traffic is fine, your luggage is there, and sometimes it's just the opposite, everything goes wrong. On this trip, nothing went wrong. It was a perfect trip. It felt so good to be traveling again. I haven't been on an airplane for 3 years, so this was just so much needed to get out and see different places of the world again. So that felt so good. We had an amazing trip. So if you're interested in what we did, and you can check out the vlog. And also before that, I did a little hand dyeing vlog. And so actually it's been 2 vlogs since the last podcast episode. So I kind of missed doing vlogs, and some of you missed watching some of the vlogs, so I guess I was just trying to compensate for not vlogging for a long time. So I did 2 and kind of skipped an episode of the regular podcast. Anywho, long story short and long introduction, we are back. I am back with a regular episode of a podcast, and I have so much content today. So this might take a little while. I have to be somewhere in an hour, so yeah, actually I have to leave the house in exactly 1 hour, so it can be longer than that. It actually might get a little longer because I have some footage from when I was doing the Easter eggs that I'm gonna put in this video. So stay tuned for that. So later in this episode, I'm gonna talk about how I came up with the colors for the Easter egg, and also the packaging and how it looks. So if you did not order an Easter egg, you can now see exactly what it looks like and what I put inside the box and so on. And I have to just make one warning, Susanna, if you are watching this down in New Zealand and you haven't gotten yours yet, it got lost in the mail. I just got a text from the post office that they found it, they're gonna send it, it's on its way, and it hopefully will be there before the next Easter. But if you don't wanna see what's inside that box, just make sure to listen when I say look away. So let's start with works in progress. I usually am a little faster than what I have been on this particular project. Actually, before I start to talk about works in progress, I need to take this off because it is a very nice and warm day. I just need to put on something that I have knitted when I do podcasts. I do the potterwear, as a Danish podcaster calls the potterwear. Whatever the podcaster is wearing is potterwear. This is my Candy Cloud cardigan. I did this out of all the scrap silk mohair I had. It is a 4-strand knit. So I just knit with 4 strands of mohair. When I run out of a color, or if I just want to try another color, I just break the yarn, overlap for 8 inches, then continue knitting. So in the pattern, it just says use your scraps. You can also just use the same color, do whatever you want. I just wanted to show. Now I can take it off. So, that's better. It's a little warm today. The weather in Denmark has suddenly shifted from cold spring to pre-summer. So it's gorgeous. The weather forecast for the next 10 days looks amazing. So a lot of white wine on the terrace, even on weeknights. It's horrible. Anyway, works in progress. This has been on my needles for 500 million years, it feels like. And I just checked my last episode to see my progress on the Esther sweater before I continue to talk about it. So the last time I showed this, it didn't have the sleeve, but the body was done. So all I had to do was pick up stitches and do the sleeve. And this is taking me 3 weeks. And I will tell you why later, because I just totally got caught up in something else. But sleeve number 1 is almost done. It looks very, very slim and very, very long. But because there's so many purl stitches, it pulls together. So it will, when it's washed and blocked, it will be wider. So the sleeve has to be really long so that there will be enough length to kind of adjust the circumference of the sleeve. So Esther tried this on yesterday. It looked really fitted on her, and she was a little worried, but with all these purl stitches that is almost like a ripping, it will stretch a whole lot once you wash it. So just keeping that in mind, and also just reminding myself not to panic that this sweater will be good. So actually my main plan for today is finish this sleeve, and because then I can start to write the pattern, and then I need to sew these two together. I just kind of knit them together. I think I sew them together using Kitchener stitch, or did I knit them together? Yeah, I knit them together. Anyway, then I will pick up stitches for the neckline and kind of finish that, so I know exactly what this is supposed to look like. Then I can work the pattern. Then I can call for testers, and then I can work the sleeve afterwards, because I really don't need to have made both of the sleeves to do the pattern. That way we can get this going, because I really want this ready for the fall. Actually, August would be good. So we can knit this beginning in August, September, and have this ready for the fall and the winter. And then when this is done, I'm going to do a male version with the same kind of cabling in a little thinner yarn, I think. But that's not right now. That's just soon. So the next time I see you, that's 2 weeks from now, I promise you and myself that this sweater will be done, and hopefully Esther can wear it and we can take some pictures. So I'm just making that promise to make sure that I do not fall into my crochet basket, because that is what happened. I think I needed just to do something that was completely mindless. I will share the whole crochet thing a little later. The next thing I want to show you, I did a vlog, I don't know how long time ago that was, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I kind of explain how I get inspired for a colorway. Then I dye the yarn, and this was influenced, I was so inspired by the James's Flamingo, and I wanted to kind of show the progress from once I get an idea, what does the bird look like, and then how do I transfer that to the yarn, and what does it look like when it is when it's twisted into a skein, and what does it look like when it's caked up. That part is actually not in the video. It ends with the skein. If you're curious to see the process, that's Canadian, process of me getting the idea and the whole process to the finished yarn of the James Flamingo, you can go watch that vlog. I can put a link up here as well, and if you missed that, I'll put both of them down in the description box down below. Anyway, this is the James's Flamingo. I have this one skein left. I sold one, and then I kicked one up because when we went to France, I wanted to have something to knit on the plane, and I knew that I could take it with me on the airplane from Denmark to Paris. I did not dare to take it from Paris to Denmark because I know that the security in Paris is a little different than in Denmark. So anyway, I kicked this up. I cast it on stitches in the airport, and whenever we were walking around Paris and just having a little coffee break somewhere, I would bring out this knitting because it's just easy traveling yarn. This is one side, this is the other side, and as you can see, the pooling is very obvious in this because of the way it was dyed, and I knew that, but that was part of the fun. And usually I don't like yarn to pull this way, but because it resembles the beak of the James's Flamingo, I actually think it's pretty fun that the yellow and the black is actually in the same area. And also this actually is totally what the flamingo looks like, the beak, the neck, the tail. So for this particular sock, I think it's fine. Usually when I dye, I am very careful to not put the dye with the same amount of spaces between them so that this pulling will happen. I think it might happen anyway with some colors, but I try to make it as even as possible so it doesn't have this kind of pulling. Also, you should also always change between two skeins, especially if you do like a sweater, so you don't get that block of one color and then the block of another color. That's a whole other story. This, I really enjoy knitting on these. I always just love to have a pair of plain socks. This is my sugar sock pattern. That is just a plain vanilla sock, no fuss. It is 64 stitches and an afterthought heel, so very easy. And I think that's actually all I have on my needles, and then that's not even true, because let me just share with you a progress on my blanket. And right now I'm going numb because I forgot where I put it. Okay, so I totally got caught up in this project. I have started this blanket a long time ago, actually, I think sometime last year, and I have talked about it before in an earlier episode. I don't remember which one, but this is the Cozy Memories blanket, except I think I'm doing another number of stitches. It's a free pattern. I don't actually right now remember how many stitches you're supposed to knit with in the original pattern, and I don't even remember how many stitches I have. I think 46. But anyway, this is, you can totally use the Cozy, is it called the Cozy Memories blanket? I will link it down below. But it's made out of all these squares. This is how wide it is. It's pretty wide. And I just for some reason, when Easter break started, we went to the summer house for 3 days. And when we were there, I just really needed to not be knitting on anything work related. So I brought this because, you know, a scrappy project like this will never finish if you don't do a square here and there. So I actually think I did. I think I finished this last one. I did 3 new ones. And I have the cutest little stitch marker from, I think she's called Trini Knits. It's Danish. I will link her shop down below. She makes these really cute beaded stitch markers. Anyway. So this has kind of been taking over. Instead of me knitting the sleeve on the Esther sweater, I just got all caught up in this. And I love the colors. I have like this basket with the colors that are allowed for this blanket. No green and no blue is allowed. And then yet I have purple and some of this like mustardy that has, I guess, some kind of green to it. But I will just know when I see a scrap, is it a yes or a no? And all these are yes so far. I even take like grays, and then maybe I will just knit with a pink silk mohair. There's no rules for that yet. So I'm just using scraps, 1 fingering and 1 silk mohair. And even I think I have so many of these leftovers from, this is the Danish Pernilla from Filgulana, which is a little thicker actually than a normal fingering weight yarn, but that doesn't matter. It still fits, looks good. And I'm using a 4mm needle, which is a US 6. And I haven't really done a square for over a week or so, and it's fine. It's just every now and then it's just nice to pick it up and make a square or two, so it actually will finish. I have hoping this can be ready for Christmas because it's a Christmas present for my sister-in-law and my brother. and they don't know, they don't watch the podcast anyway. So it's fine, I can tell. And hopefully it will be done by Christmas, but I'm not even sure that's going to happen. That has been one thing that has been distracting me, but what has been distracting me the most is my huge granny stripe blanket. It has really grown the last few weeks because for some reason I needed it, I think. I just needed something mindless like this. And it's just so meditative and lovely. And this is I think before Easter I have moved this. I remember I moved this once or twice, so I don't even remember where I started before, but it's growing. And this particular blanket is 100% inspired by Helle. Helle is a Danish podcaster. She has the podcast De Løse Ender with Merete, and they are just the sweetest women in the world, and I love watching their podcast. They have such a positive energy, and they are just so nice and lovely. And Helle was making a blanket, a granny stripe blanket, and she was adding this one strand of mohair throughout the entire work, which gives the blanket this kind of muted. So no matter how crazy the yarn that you use is, then once you have this mohair, I'm using this color mohair, which is the Tilia in the colorway Latte 336. I'm not sponsored. And it just kind of gives all the colors the same tone or warmth. So I'm loving this blanket, and I love crocheting because I'm working on a 5mm needle, which is an H. It's so fast to do a row. And after I started to dye my own yarn, I just love to add my own yarn to the project, and just it's just so much fun to add something that only you make the blanket yourself, but you've also dyed some of the yarns, excuse me. I just love that. So this is dangerous because it's so addictive, and it kind of it's eating up my knitting time instead of me working on a design that I should really finish. I have been so bad in just crocheting like crazy for a long time. So that has to stop and work knitting has to begin. But every now and then it's just lovely to take a little break and just do whatever you feel like doing. And then, because I have started to dye yarn, and because I think that doing the Cozy Memories blanket is fun, I thought maybe I should do a Cozy Memories blanket in my own yarn. So every time I have a little scrap yarn from something I've dyed myself, I wanted to make a little square. And then it doesn't matter if this takes 25 years, but I just thought it could be cute to kind of make a little blanket in my own yarn. And I don't have that much scrap yarn of my own yet because I put it online. I haven't really stolen that much for myself yet. I have a little more, I think, than this, but I'm not sure. So this is the cinnamon spice in gold. This is Alabama, Greenbow. No, it's Greenbow, Alabama, or is this Greenbow? It doesn't matter. Greenbow, Alabama. And this is something Esther dyed for a pair of socks that I made for her. So far, so good. 3 teeny tiny squares, and maybe there will never be any more else. I don't know. Another thing that I brought with me, because on the airplane home from Paris, I was so scared they would steal my needles. So I brought this with me with some small wooden needles, like wooden DPNs, and they didn't steal them, so I could knit on this. And I also brought a crochet project, which is a corner to corner blanket. And I thought if they take my crochet needle, it's fine. I have so many. So I only crocheted a little bit on this, on the plane, just because just the idea of having 2 to 3 hours on an airplane without knitting or crocheting would just be simply be torture. So that's a little good advice actually, to just have an extra project with either wooden needles or a crochet hook, because I don't think they take that. And I just wanted to make sure I had a backup if something happened. So this is what I had on the plane on the way home, and that was fine in my little lovely bag from Calico, which is a hand. She does dye the fabric herself, and she does the prints. She's from Berlin. I have 2 of her bags and I love her design. I think she's so talented. I can link her shop down below as well. So I've just been into all these scrappy projects. I think it's just nice and mindless and fun. The next thing that's going to happen at the Casa del Camicio Knit is a few new designs. Of course, the Esther West. I have showed you that I'm working in the Mega Mohair to do like a cardigan version of the spring diamond sweater. And I'm still working on that, so I have nothing new to show. But I have a new yarn base in my shop. It's called Barber Pole. It's a DK weight merino. I have a skein here, and I am, let's pull this in. I am working, and I can just show you right now what I am working on, and hope that no designer in the world will copy my idea. Anyway, I'm working on a shawl pattern. In 2 seconds I will show you the yarn. I'm crazy in love with this yarn. I call it barber pole because it has that barber pole effect. Maybe that's hard to see here. Let me grab a skein. I have 8 colors. I will show you all the colors in a minute. So you can see here. Can you tell? It's 3 ply. And 2 of the strands are non-superwash, so they take the color differently and not as quickly as the superwash yarn. So it's 1 strand of superwash and 2 strands of non-superwash, which gives it this a little more rustic but still next to skin soft merino, and a little bit more hold because it has not been superwashed. So there's a lot of there's more like hold to the yarn. Feels almost like a Peruvian, but it's not. It's a merino yarn. But anyway, the effect of this barber pole, I'm not sure if this was a thing in the 80s, but I think it reminds me of yarn I've seen before, maybe in my childhood. I'm not sure, but I love the effect. I love how it makes this kind of heathered look, and this is my favorite blue, so of course I had to dye some of the yarn in the Knitwear colorway, which is the Nordic Sea God. And this is, I love this color. This is coral, and the one that I'm knitting is pink lilac. And I'm gonna make a shawl in this pattern. No, not in this pattern. I'm gonna make a shawl in this yarn. Let me show you the yarn. Here's the yarn. So this is soft apricot. This is peppermint, pink lilac, the coral I just showed you. Over here is Knitwear. This is Bossman Bing, which has this, yeah, when it's next to blue, it looks blue, but it's actually like a very soft lilac. No, not lilac, lavender. It's like a bluish gray purple. And I have the gray, I could just call this rock. It has a lot of the barber pole, and this one, the gorgeous golden olive. So these are the 4 colors I have in this base. You can check them out online. I will link, of course, link everything down below. Yes, so I'm working on a design, shawl design in that barber pole yarn that I think is really, really something. It's not that pricey either, so go check that out. Next thing, I have finally opened for pre-orders for the advent calendars, and I have 6 different versions. So you can either go for just 24 minis and a full skein in the 3 different bases. So I have opened for fingering weight sock yarn, gold fingering weight gold sock yarn, which is a 2-ply yarn with some gold stellina, which is this base. So you can either pick 24 minis and a full skein, or just the 24 minis without the full skein in the 3 bases. So either this one or the sock base, or a DK weight sock merino. That is the 3 bases. If you really want to have the option of a single ply merino, the single 366 and minis in the same, I will consider it. But I need to make sure that there will be enough that wants it. So if you're interested, leave me a comment down below, and if I have enough to say yes, I would really love to buy one with that base, I will make that option as well. And yeah, so I'm very excited. And my mom wrote me, you really are early. You're really selling advent calendars already. But I can see that other hand dyers have them up for sale now. And I can also see that it's going to be a huge amount of work if I dye them too late. So I thought it would just be so unstressful for everyone, especially me, if I just put them out for sale now, and then when I close it, I can start dyeing yarn. And it's a long process. I have to get ideas for all the 24 mini skeins. And because I am influenced, or the theme of this advent calendar will be the Danish Christmas, I really want it to be all a part of the vlogmas. So all these ideas in my head, I have to kind of have them all be successful and work out. And so I think it's just very good to be what is that word? To be prepared in time. So that is why it's for sale so early. But it's so excited. I'm a little nervous about the whole thing as well. But I think it'll be fun when I do vlogmas anyway, that I can open my own mini skeins. And for those of you who doesn't want one, you can still see what it's going to look like. And talking about yarn clubs or advent calendars, I also this year did the Easter egg. And in a way, for me, that was to just kind of do a mini version of the advent calendar, to kind of do this Easter egg. And they have all been shipped and everyone has gotten them. Some of you has been so nice to kind of show them on Instagram and tag me so I could see your reaction to it, or if you liked it. So that was just so much fun. If you have not shared it on Instagram and you want to share it on Instagram, please do so, and use the hashtag #CamAtYourKnit Easter egg. That way I can see what happens. And even especially if you knit something with the yarn, I'm so super excited to see what you knit. That brings me to the yarn. But before I show you the finished yarn, I want to show you this little footage of me packing the Easter eggs, so you can see what the whole box looks like. It's just a little, I don't think it's going to be very long, a few minutes, maybe just only one. And I'll put that in here, and I will see you afterwards where I will talk about the colors of the yarn. welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little footage of me making all these Easter eggs. I had two options, either the 7 mini skeins and 1 full skein, or just the 7 mini skeins. And I have the mini skein. Yes, I have the mini skeins right here. Did I spoil something? But I actually think that I did that before. So these are the 7 eggs. And let me just show you something. In every little box, I put an egg. Explaining, many of you won't understand because this is in Danish, but explaining all the colors of the eggs. I think my first idea was to just kind of do 7 pastels, because for me, Easter is just these bright or pastel-y colors. But I thought, well, maybe I should actually dig into what Easter is all about. And since I have a master in history of religion, I do know some, and also I also actually did 3 years of theology at the university, so I know something about Easter. But I thought it would be fun to kind of be inspired by Easter traditions, not only here in Denmark, but around the world. And someone wrote me, and right now I can't remember, I'm sorry, that in Greece, we also do it here in Denmark, but in Greece, they boil the eggs with the skin of the onion to kind of make this warm red color. And you can even like put in leaves and then wrap it in something and then boil it so that the pattern from the leaf will stay light and then the rest of the egg will stay dark. Google Greek Easter eggs or onion skin eggs and you will see the most beautiful Easter eggs. So the red one was inspired by that. The yellow, of course you can't do an Easter egg without any yellow. So this is like daffodils and Easter in general. Here in Denmark, at the church, the Palm Sunday is a purple day. So the minister, the priest will have like a purple, I don't know the English word for that, but that will dress up with purple. So it's a purple day. And because of Palm Sunday, I was inspired by the palm trees. This is why we have a green palm tree mini skein. This one is multicolored. And this is inspired by when I was a kid, we would blow eggs, like take a real raw egg, poke a hole in the top and the bottom, then blow out the yolk and the egg white, leaving an empty shell. And those we would watercolor on those eggshells and hang them up. You would put like a little match or a toothpick inside and then you can hang the eggs. And I was just inspired by the watercoloring the eggs as a child. This one is supposed to symbolize the white. It's a little hard to hand dye white and also very boring. So I just kind of wanted to give it a little bit of gold so that it was like a celebration color. Then in the Danish church, white is the celebration color. So I wanted to do that. The last one is inspired by the robin's egg, which I kind of think is nature's own little Easter egg. So that is why we have this robin blue egg. So that's the 5. And then I had to do the full skein and I was very indecisive in what color to do the main skein. Because I didn't want it to be yellow, just because I wanted to be something a little different. And then I thought maybe I should do a full skein that kind of has a little bit of all the colors. But then I just kind of thought I'm just going to go with all the colors that I love. And because I was going to Paris during Easter, one of the things on my bucket list was to go by the Notre Dame and see all the beautiful cherry blossom trees. So that is what I went with. I wanted to do a cherry blossom inspired skein. So this was it. So this is the cherry blossom skein and the 7 minis. So that was my Easter egg. Like that. Yes. So thank you so much to those of you who bought an Easter egg and supported me. I really appreciate that. That was so much fun to do, and I will do that next year as well. I have one more thing. My mom and dad were here the other day, and my mom is definitely not a knitter. She's not very artistic. She's a science person. She has always been teaching math and physics, and she's a very smart woman, but very science type of person. She still loves art and museums and stuff, but she's not a creative spirit at all. I have that from my aunt. She's a very creative woman. But my mom was here, and I said, do you want to go to the dye studio and just maybe play around a little bit and try to dye some yarn? And she was like, sure. And I took her there, and she was kind of looking at the posters that I have with all the colors from the company that makes the dye powder. And she was, maybe she was hungry, because she was picking out all the names that had something to do with food. So I just wanted to show you the results of what she did, if I can find it. It was so much fun, because first she picked out a color to kind of work the base in that color. And then I said, okay, so do you want to sprinkle it with something? You want to do specks? And she's like, yeah, I want to do that green. It's really pretty. I want to speck that. I said, okay, but just lightly, Mom. Not too much at a time, because it can kind of spoil the whole thing and it'll go muddy. And of course, my mom has her mind of her own. And she sprinkled way too much green than for my taste. But when it was all dried and done, it looks so gorgeous. So this is what she did. And I love that she went crazy with the green, because it looks so good. So I have these 3 skeins, and I have decided to call them Shrimp Cocktail, because she was inspired by food. This green one is called avocado. So if you dye with this color, it's called avocado. My mom loves avocado, so I think that's why she went nuts with the avocado. And we call it Shrimp Cocktail. And I'm actually pretty amazed that she did such a good job. I was not expecting that. What I did, on the other hand, is I dyed some minis to go with them. So it will be cute little mini sets with my mom's hand-dyed yarn. And I don't even think I'm going to put any of this in my shop, because I think she deserves a pair of her own. And I think I deserve a pair of my own. And then there's only one left. And I just don't think I can sell them. I think I'll just keep them. But I was really amazed. And what is fun is I dyed this one not too long ago. I call this one Peach and Moss. So the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree, does it? So I guess we kind of have the same, we like the same colors. I just thought it was so much fun to have her with me in the dye studio, and yeah, we had a good time out there. I think that's all for now, actually. I think that's all the things. I feel like I've been talking for 100 years. Is there anything else that I have forgot? I am thinking about doing in the future a live stream from the dye studio, and then like usually when I dye yarn, I have everything measured, I write everything down, and so I can recreate if I make something great and then I can recreate it. But sometimes it's just, I just really want to just play around and not have to bother about weighing everything and being so calculative. So I was thinking maybe once a week to do like a live stream from the dye studio and just call it Yarn of the Day. So there will only be the six skeins that I dye during that process will be up for sale in the evening on the shop. So, and you can, you know, chat with me while I live stream and dye the yarn. Would that be fun? Would you like to do that? I would do like maybe in the, I don't know. It's just, just an idea that I got to me yesterday. It'd be fun to dye yarn, live stream. You can chat, you can come, you can ask me questions, or come with ideas to what color to apply to the yarn. And then we will name the yarn, the date And then if you were a part of the process and you thought it'd be fun to buy the yarn, then it will be yarn of the day. We'll make a category on the website called yarn of the day and then the dates. And you could buy the yarn. And even maybe you could kind of upload that live stream afterwards. I have never done live stream before. I think it's a little nerve-wracking to be there, and everything is recorded. If you say something really stupid, which will definitely happen for me, I have to edit things out of my podcast because I say so much stupid stuff, or I sneeze or burp or do something inappropriate like that. So I will take a chance with that, but it could be fun. So let me know what you think about that. And also please let me know if you want, if you're desperate for an advent calendar in a base that I have not put on there. Actually, yeah, the single 366 or even a glitter 366 would be possible. But let me know down below if you have a wish. And if there are enough wishes, your wish might be granted. So you never know. I really have to go. I have an appointment in 5 minutes or so. So thank you so much for watching and joining me here again at the podcast. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. That really does support this little business of mine a whole lot. So thank you. Take care. Have a lovely weekend. And I will see you in 2 weeks with another podcast. And before that, maybe a vlog. Who knows? Take care, guys. See you. Bye.